All right, this is a little walkthrough tour of the stage area. I'm gonna take you, there's a couple places we're not gonna go, but we're gonna look at from right here. First off, there's the catwalk and there's a whole bunch of lights up there. On the corners, that corner and that corner, there are boxes that are set for the projection system. It's only supposed to be used for the projector and the screen that has not been installed yet. That shouldn't really be used for drama. It's tied down to the circuit breaker in the basement. One other place we're not going to go right now is down below us in the orchestra pit. So on the side, go around over there for a second. You can see this structure. This whole thing has to be put up with pipes. I've never done it, but there's pipes in there. But on this wall right below me, down in the orchestra pit, there is an audio input panel. And that's got microphone inputs, it's got some ties on it, it's got monitor inputs or outputs, and it's got some data connections, just like you're gonna see on some of these other ports. So when you're looking for some of them that are in the 20s, they're down there and you can use it to hook into things. One note about down in the orchestra pit, the outlets down there are controllable via the DMX, and I think that they're only just on or off at the moment. I don't know how they're split up, but 507 and 508 on the DMX panel control these outlets. If you have those on, you should be able to turn them on or turn them off. One other point, on the stage right here, you're gonna see a ladder. That ladder goes up, watch your head. There's stuff that sticks out the side. You can come up that ladder, up another ladder, and now you're up on that panel. On top of the panel, I mentioned in another video, that's where the control box that feeds those microphones that for the audience mic or the room mic. Those are not live to the sound system here, so you can't make a bunch of feedback, but if you were recording something and you wanted to get that feed, you could set it down an auxiliary input. So let's talk about stage panels for a second. Right in the center of the stage, there's one of these here. We can pick up from this little notch, and you can fold this back if you need to put a cable in and out. There's only one microphone input right here, and there's also an HDMI input. At the moment, this HDMI input is not working because the control system for it doesn't work, but in the future that should be tied into something and you can choose that as an input. On the side, we've got two other stage boxes. Each one of them has identical options with different numbers. So you're gonna see an outlet in here, monitors, so this one says monitor 7 and monitor 8. Be sure to watch the monitor routing video to explain when you can get these where you want them to go, because you got to do something in the basement for it to work, and you might have to do something on the board. The ties, which is a whole way to get signals going to and from one spot without necessarily going to a soundboard. A couple data patches. You'll see the first one says it's Dante and the other one says it's internet, but really it's based on what's in the basement. And over here you'll see something that says small event mode. I don't know if you can see this, Elliot. So that says D. I'll show you that on the stage in a second. So there's inputs here. There's inputs in the other one on the absolute other side. And then we're gonna go take a look at one of the wall boxes over here on the stage. It's dark, sorry. Here we got another port. There are 4 mic inputs. There's a small event mic mode. There's tie in and tie outs. There are intercoms. This is for the old school style of intercom. There's monitors. This is where the subwoofer ports are, only on the 2 sides of stage. So you plug those into the subwoofers and they'll work, and some data patches. So you'll also notice on stage in a few places, there'll be boxes that say DMX out. So the DMX signal, that once it gets processed, it gets sent to the basement and then split out a whole bunch of places. I know there's one here, there's one up top, there's one over there. There might even be a few more that I don't even know about. So those DMXs are all carrying information from the light board, and you can use it to get signal to control things that feed DMX. Now, if you've never seen these, and I'm not gonna get into this a whole lot, this is a crank that goes all the way up and controls one of these bars. These bars are called electrics, and the lights and other things might be hanging on them. There's a control for it. Let's see if I can find it. If I can't find it, then woe is me. Here, this crank, it's the worst. It's the worst. You put it on here, and then you push. You see how there's a spring here? You push, and now you can turn this one way or the other to get that whole lighting fixture bar to come up or down. It's easier to do it with ladders, and they have some rolling ones now. If we did it right now, it would crash into the set of Hello Dolly, which we don't want to do. So there are other ports. These are other intercom ties for stage managers. And right here, there's a couple of ports for the lighting system. These are stage pin. You can use a converter to convert them to regular style outlets. Those are controlled via the basement on the board. We're going to come to the other side where there's more stuff to talk about. Another DMX out, another stage box. It's the exact same thing on the opposite side. This right here is a 10-button panel. Oh, we didn't talk about that upstairs. This is a 10-button panel, and there are scenes controlled in this panel. I'm going to do a video on the lighting board, but there's one here and there's one up in the front. The off button is the same as turning the off buttons on the 2-button switches that when you walk into the Jochum, and scene 1 is the same as the on switch, but there's more to it than that. This thing right here is the old Leviton system, which controlled the house lights. It still works. I may unplug it before I even leave. It shouldn't work. We don't want to really use this thing, but you can use this to fade up or down, or you used to be able to. I think it messes with some of our stuff here, so I might uncontrol it. If you notice these red panels right here, you're going to see this is what comes back from the other feeds up at the tech booth. You might be able to use these to pass some information to and from something. And then the white ones go up top to where we have transmitters. These boxes were for microphones that were 2.4 gigahertz Audio-Technica ones that aren't currently being used for anything right now. So that's the history on those things. What do we got here? Open, close, stop. This controls the red curtain, the main curtain. So if I hit close and I hold that button down, the curtain's going to start to close. I'll hit open. I don't know why there's a stop button. Maybe if something goes massively wrong, because as soon as you let go of the button, it stops anyway. This right here is the winch control. And the winch control is for the lights that hang in the middle. There's cables right there. This has to be, a couple different things have to be set. It has to be in the on position for the key. You have to have this pulled out for it to start. And then I think you need it in the play mode. Play with this thing. I don't know this stuff that well. Up or down, and you can get it to come down. It'll stop automatically at the bottom, and you can put some lights on. You'll see some other stage pins here, and you can see for Hello Dolly, all they've done is converted this. This is now converted to be a regular style jack, but you can use it for older style lights if you wanted to. Right here, these two lights that say Stage Halide control the regular overhead lights that are on right now in this place. There's a control for the ghost light, which is this light bulb over my head that hangs over the stairway just to keep things on. And I don't know what these lights are or that light is. I don't even know. Let's talk about this panel right here for a second. This is no longer relevant. This used to be controlling, switching between the small system and the large system. This thing might just be gone in the future. This is the small system. This little thing is a mixer. It's actually always on right now. In the future, it will never even exist. But if you happen to be here while this is still here, the wireless number 16 is controlled by this as well. And even if that board up there is off, if you have mic 16, turn it on, you can control it right here. All these other mics, A, B, C, D, E, those come to the different panel spots. If you were to plug in a thing there, you could use this to put some audio through the system. There's master levels for the house right here. And then there's also a CD player and an auxiliary input. You can select between them right here to choose. There's another remote control output for turning the speakers on in the basement. Once again, at some point in the future, that will go away. This is a small system input that goes into this spot. These are ties that go throughout the whole system. We'll explain that in a video in the basement. And then data patching panels. Right now, these aren't patched to anything, but you could patch them to whatever you wanted down in the basement. This little device right here is the control for this talkback system, these intercoms. You can use the buttons on these to get them linked together, I think, or to talk back and forth. There's spots for mics there. This video output, I would ignore that. I did not put that in. I have no idea what that is. Just as a little bit of awareness, there is a couple of antennae here. They're no longer relevant. They used to be for an Audio-Technica wireless mic. It's no longer a part of the system. And on the side, you're going to see a panel here. This little latch, this will open up and you can look in the back of it if you have to. One more thing before we go anywhere. At the moment, this wireless router belongs to the AV network, not the Lutheran West network. And if you wanted to, you could lift this thing up and pull it off and unplug it and take it somewhere else, plug it into the control network, and you'd be able to get control of things on there. So that could move into the gym because there's two of these. And then when we come around the side here, I don't have any special stuff backstage, but in the bathrooms there are the intercoms are tied to those, and one of the matrix feeds into that system. And we got the stairway that goes down to the basement where there's some extra controls. So we'll go down there in a different video.